Welcome in and good morning. This is a very special Coffee Wednesday live chat. We are headed to Denver this afternoon, so we've got a flight to catch. I didn't want to skip the live chat, so we moved it up. Thank you for your flexibility, your patience. It'll live longer now, but I know this is a different time. Maybe we'll find some new viewers. I don't know. But anyway, this time is yours. We're going to answer your questions, concerns, comments. There is a Travelers Championship. There's a Lift Golf event. There's a Corn Ferry event. There's a European Tour event. There's a lot of stuff going on, and we have a lot to get through. Let's sip our coffee and get underway. All right. A couple things we like to get out of the way at the beginning of the show. We look at the weather and we look at the one and done projected ownership. So let's start with the weather here. Cromwell, Connecticut, not technically Hartford, Cromwell, Connecticut. And admittedly, there's a lot of thunderstorms in the forecast. I mean, you are looking at thunderstorms or chances of storms Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, mostly in the afternoons. And you're looking at 50, 60, 70% chance each day. And if there is rain, it's pretty significant, quarter of an inch, third of an inch. Now, let's look at Thursday. Thursday is going to be hot. Today is very hot. There's that heat wave on the East Coast and the Midwest. Thursday morning looks warm and clean. It does get up to 9-mile-an-hour winds from 5-mile-an-hour winds in the afternoon. Thursday seems pretty straightforward. Friday is where things start to get a little bit hairy here. Less wind in general. In fact, the highest sustained wind speeds that we get all day long are 6 miles an hour. But the afternoon that's when those storms roll in. So you're talking about noonish thunderstorms. So what could this mean? If they play through it, it'll probably be annoying. If they stop and have to come back at any point, if there is lightning in the area or something like that, those guys who have not played any holes would get presumably very soft and gettable conditions when they do come back, right? Because there's going to be maybe a quarter of an inch more rain in the forecast. I think if you are leaning anywhere, I don't think I'd mind grabbing those guys in the afternoon on Friday, just because you might get lift, clean, in place all day. They might get softer conditions. It's a small field, so I don't worry about as much about having to start and stop and guys finishing the next day. But even if they do, is that really a huge deal? I think that might be the side. So AM, PM might be the way to go. You can make your own decisions on that. If you want to use the waves, they're available on the custom model on rickrungood.com. So you can see there's not true wave advantages for this week because it is a signature event. It's only 71 golfers in the field. They're just all going out in order. But the afternoon tee times start with Siwoo Kim. Siwoo Kim's group is the first that goes off in the afternoon. So if you wanted to check that out, please feel free. The other thing that we do here is we get this out of the way to start. We look at the currently most selected golfers and the selection rates for one and done leagues. This is from officefootballpool.com. They show you everything for the entire website. This very closely mirrors what you see in most leagues around the industry. So there are 3 golfers currently over 10% in those selections. Brian Harman, number 1, 17%. Hideki is at 12. Patrick Cantlay is at 10.6. Then you get Ludwig at 9.7. Keegan, Finau, Russell Henley, Xander Schauffele, Sahith, and Victor Hovland rounding out the top 10. This is a little bit surprising to me. I know that we are at the final turn here of the season, right? And you're running out of ammo and you've used all of your good guys and all that stuff. And I understand that Brian Harman has a terrific track record around here. In fact, if you go to the course horses on the Holy Grail, my website, rickrungood.com, and you go to, anybody who's played at least 24 rounds or let's do 40 rounds, because that's how many Brian Harman has. I think he has 44 at any golf course. Brian Harman at TPC River Highlands is one of the best fits and one of the highest strokes gained rates that you can get. He's gaining 1.7 strokes per round. So I get that. However, what do we know, right? Let's step back. 71 golfers, no cut. These are the events in which you're best golfers rise to the top. You also have a massive purse, 20 million, 3.6 to the winner. So again, like, this is not really the time to be using a Brian Harman. This is a time to be using a top 5, top 10 player in the world, a guy that you've been saving for this spot, which for me, there's a couple of considerations. I think using Hideki is probably better at 11.9%. Patrick Cantlay, who's been in his own right very good around this golf course. I'll change it to TPC River Highlands. I probably have to lower the number of rounds because I don't think that Cantlay's played that many. He hasn't. 32 rounds. He is second to Brian Harman. He played well last week. If you are worried about fatigue, how about the 24-year-old who is maybe not even human in Ludwig Oberg, right? I just think there are kind of some better options than Brian Harman. I just don't think you need to be using Brian Harman in a situation like this. And if you have any of the following golfers available, Scotty Scheffler, Xander Schauffele, or Patrick Cantlay, you should probably be using them. They've all been selected at 87% or more in one and dones industry wide. So you'd be pretty alone in doing so, and you're probably not going to get a lot of better spots for these guys. You've got no more signature events. You've got a couple of playoff events, but that's about it. Okay. We're going to get into the questions now. I did save some questions. So actually StreamYard did a pretty good job of retaining these questions over the course of the last day or so, but I did grab some from earlier and I'll start there. So there's a question from Philip who says, with only 2 elevated events left, is there a sort of box out method that we should go with? Go with the chalk that picked that second place hasn't picked yet. Talking about game theory. So we talk about one and done. So essentially, let's go. I'll pull up that ownership again. We're running out of events. Should you be trying to box out your opponent? So if you see that the guy behind you has used Scotty and Xander and Patrick Cantlay, do you just play Brian Harman? I think we are just too early for that, Philip. Maybe as we get, there's still too much money to be made this week, the Open Championship. As we start getting into the playoffs, I think we start boxing out a little bit more. Dustin joins the YouTube channel. Thank you very much. You can join a membership. Appreciate that. Jay says, who has the best shot to finish inside the top 10? Pick 2 of Austin Eckroat, Justin Rose, Jason Day, JT Poston, Harris English, Robert McIntyre. Okay. Top 10, Poston and Day are probably my 2 favorites. Let's look into this a little bit deeper. There was also a question in regards to, can we do a deep dive on Jason Day so I can knock out a couple of these at the same time? I can crack 2 nuts with 1 nutcracker. Oof, this is a lot worse than I thought. The good news is he has not lost his superpower, which is the putter. It's always concerning when you lose that. He has not. It's basically 10 or 12 events in a row that he's gained strokes there. His approach play has been miserable, but it's only been slightly bad over his last 4. His history here, I'm pretty sure, is elite, is it not? It's pretty good. So he went on this stretch from 2018 to 2021 where he went 12th, 8th, 46th, 10th. He did miss the cut and finished 45th in his last 2 trips. Maybe it's not Jason Day. Who are my other options? I liked Poston because when you're talking about a top 10 in a field like this, you kind of need somebody who can heat up, kind of get microwave hot, which JT Poston can. And on a golf course that's not long, and accuracy reigns supreme and putting reigns supreme, that's JT Poston's game. So I'm gonna stick with that. I'm happy with that. What about Rosie? I like Eckroat a lot, but I worry about his ability to get inside the top 10 here. No, I think I'm gonna have to stick with Day. I don't think those are a ton of really great options. I'm cool with Poston. Day is probably the other one. Colin's history here isn't great, but his play coming into this year has been way better than the past. Is there any way to look at how he's playing leading up to this in the past? Yeah, we could do this. Just go to Colin's profile here. He's only played here twice. He's missed the cut and he's finished like, I guess I could just check instead of guess. He missed the cut in 23. He missed the cut in 2020, which was a lifetime ago. And he finished 36th in 2019. I believe that 36th in 2019 was his first professional event. It's right around this time where these guys out of college turn pro. It's right when Ludwig did it. Victor Hovland, Matt Wolf. I believe this was like their first or second event in 2019. He finished T36. He was $6,900. I've not seen that in quite some time. So how is he playing leading up to this event in the past? So we're going to go back to last year. So 2023 Travelers, where he missed the cut. He had finished 14th at the U.S. Open. He withdrew from the Memorial. That was when he had the back injury. Prior to that, he finished T29 and T26 in his starts before. He was a very good second shot player. I mean, he was playing pretty well at that moment. And then we have to go back pretty far for the 2020 version of this event, which was played here. Where he also missed the cut. He had finished 64th at the RBC Heritage prior, did not play well, but was playing pretty good before that. Runner-up at Charles Schwab, 9th at Bay Hill. And then the year before that, yeah, we don't have it. So actually, I think this was probably his first professional event. No, that's not right. Because he would have turned pro, I assume, after the U.S. Open. So he played did he play the Canadian Open on a sponsor's invite? Play the U.S. Open as an AM? And then turned pro. I don't remember the exact mechanics of it, but this was one of the first few events. That is actually it on the questions that I saved. So we can jump into these here in StreamYard. It says, Nathan says, thoughts on cash strategy, given there's no cut, 3 to 4 studs and 2 very cheap duds. Sure. I don't play a lot of cash. I don't play any cash. If I did, I would go to the power rankings here. I'd go to the strokes gain distribution. I would look for the rate in which golfers are gaining 1 or 2 strokes to the field. And I would find some cheaper options here. You know, Mackenzie Hughes has very little upside. Only gains 5 or more strokes to the field 5% of the time. That's very low, but he gains 2 and 3 and 1 stroke to the field as much as anybody else. So that is a pretty solid cash game play. He's $6,900. Michael Thor Bjornsson, we don't have a ton of rounds on, but what he has played similarly, just like very little upside, very high floor. Christian Bezuidenhout as well. If you're looking for duds, that would kind of be the route that you could go. Seamus Power is another really good example of this. Seamus Power hangs with his peers, gaining 1 or more stroke to the field, 2 or more strokes to the field, and then falls pretty significantly on upside after that, which doesn't win you a lot of GPPs, but should help in cash games quite a bit. Is it time to play Cantlay and one and done? Everyone around me has used him. Yes, it is. It's not going to be fun. He might burn you. I think the short answer is mostly this. If you still have Xander, use Xander. It's like a flow chart. Do you still have Xander? Yes, use Xander. Do you still have Scotty? Yes, use Scotty. Do you still have Cantlay? Yes, use Cantlay. I think that's kind of the starting point. If you don't have any of those guys left, which I've got a lot of teams and a lot of leagues in which I do not have those guys left, I have gone for Ludwig. That is where I've gone. I have a lot of Ludwig this week. I have a little bit of Xander. I have a little bit of Cantlay. That's the way it rolled out for me. I've got Ludwig, Victor, Hideki as big guns left to my one and done for Traveler, St. Jude, BMW, going live for the Open. Okay. Who are the best course fits for TPC River Highlands, Southwind, and Castle Pines? Victor penciled in for this week. Well, not sure that's the greatest idea. You probably can't go wrong with a lot of these. Now, Castle Pines is interesting because we don't have a lot of history on Castle Pines. So what we could conceivably do is this. Let's do TPC River Highlands and TPC Southwind in the course history or in the course horses. We've got everybody who's in this field, which are basically going to be the same types of golfers. You could use Harris English. Oh boy, I don't know if you want to use these guys at Southwind. Who's like the most conceivable guy? You can use, okay. So Cantlay's good in both spots, right? So Cantlay is, actually, let's lower this to 12 minimum rounds. But you've got Cantlay. Cantlay is kind of like your flex player. You could use him or Hideki. Hideki's got 16 rounds or Morikawa. 16 rounds over a stroke gain per round at TPC Southwind. Victor's got 12 rounds here. He's gaining a stroke per round. Let's see what Victor's done at Southwind real quick. I don't know off the top of my head. Oh God. TPC. Finished 13th, 20th, 36th, 59th. Yeah. I think it is Cantlay, or I'm sorry. Ludwig this week, Victor at Southwind, and Hideki at Castle Pines. When you say this course is ranked 12th in driving accuracy, is that out of all courses in your database or just courses that are played this year? Yeah, so good question. It's technically like this year and recent events. It's not in my database. I've got like 1,000 courses in the database or more than that. So you're talking, John is talking about the course key stats page where driving accuracy ranks 12th out of currently 52. So it's basically like this season, last season, it's some major championship venues, just like things that we've done recently in the last couple of years. It's not, I should probably like make that more clear. And it's certainly not everything that I have in the database. Good morning, Rick, Cantlay or Victor. I have no idea about the format or what your goals are, but I guess in a vacuum, Cantlay. Hey, Rick, currently first in a one and done. This is from Dustin, who's a member. Thank you. By 1.5 million, still have Victor and, still have Xander and Hideki. Play Xander here or hold him for St. Jude. I run out Xander here big time. Yeah, big time. 10 events left. Does it make sense to use golfers? Oh, I think that's so similar answer, Kyle, as I gave earlier. Not yet. We don't need to start doing this just yet. There's still a ton of money this week. We still have a major championship. I'm not ready to bend to the will of my opponents without getting through this signature event. Doing some deep Holy Grail diving. Nice on Rick Run Good. Filtering by designated events. Theegala is 5th in strokes gained tee to green, 5 top 20s, 3. Yeah. He says, is this the one that he wins? Winning is really hard. The good news is Sahith, I believe firmly has the upside to win a signature event like this. Look at how his stat profile is cleaning up here. He has turned into a pretty strong, mature player throughout the bag. He can get hot with the putter, which is what you're going to need this week. The one thing that I want to keep in mind is there are a lot of wedges out here, but there's also a lot of different proximities that they come from. That's what I like about TPC River Highlands is it's a pretty, for a short course, it's fairly diverse, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And you can see that from a lot of different of these different proximity buckets he's gaining to the field. I need him to keep it in play off the tee. That's the only thing. You might be able to club down a little bit. Has he played here before? Finished 52nd here last year, 2nd in 2022, and missed the cut in 2020. That is a vintage Sahith stat profile. I don't know if he can win it, but I'm pretty bullish on him. I kind of like the new time. Yeah, I mean, it's all right. I'm always up this early anyway, but I don't know. I'm like used to that noon for me time on Wednesdays, but this is okay. Can you provide DFS ownership pivots? DFS ownership and pivots? Sure. So cheat sheet, rickrodgood.com. Here is the ownership and some of the pivots that I would be most interested in. Oh, wow. The Travelers is already coming in. Wow. Very good. So I've done a lot of automating of the database here. And it's cool when it starts to work. So look at that. Travelers is already starting to come in because the tee times have been generated, all that stuff. Very cool. Okay. Sorry. The 10K range, Scotty leads the way at 28%, but the other two, Ludwig and Xander, are at 19% each. So I don't think that there's really a pivot to be made there. The $9,000 range is heavy on Cantlay at 22% and Colin Morikawa at 18%. Victor is at 10%. Sam Burns is at 10%. I think pivoting to Burns is really interesting. I've tweeted about this, and I don't know why it went so popular. The way that he played the final 66 holes at the US Open in 5 under par. Remember, 6 under par was the winning score. And people were like, oh, golf tournaments aren't 66 holes. I'm like, okay. Like, I'm just pointing out that the guy like gained strokes to the field every single day, got off to a bad start, grinds through it. Like, don't freak out. And now we've got 3 straight top 15 finishes. And these are kind of no joke finishes, right? I mean, 10th at the Canadian Open, 15th at Muirfield Village, which was a major championship, especially on Sunday. And then in a real major championship in which he finishes T9. I think Burnsy's heading in the right direction, that would probably be my favorite pivot in the 9K range. The 8K range, JT leads the way, believe it or not, 16.4%. No idea what to make of him at this point. I've been heavily invested in JT a lot. I'm seeing Russell Henley at 7.1%. Mike Cavalunas does all the ownership projections. I hired him because he has forgotten more about ownership projections than I will ever know. But that doesn't seem right, does it? Russell Henley's got to be a lot more popular than that. I rarely think Mike's wrong, but I think he's got to be a lot more popular than that. If not, 7.1 on Russell Henley would be my favorite pivot. I'm also in on Keegan this week. 7K range, a lot of Benny On love. $7,600. Benny On is here. The pivot would be for me, Christian Bezuidenhout, who's just playing great golf. JT Poston, we already talked about him. Steven Yeager, Will Zalatoris catching some love down in the lower 7K range. Wouldn't mind Dietrich. Wouldn't mind Matthew Pavone or Austin Eckroat either. Taylor Moore close to double digits in the 6K range. Thor Bjornsson, Seamus Power would be interesting. Okay. Hey, Rick, appreciate all you do. Who is someone off the radar who you like to win? Oh, boy, winning. Part of me, and this would be very far off the radar, and I have no reason to think this. I wouldn't be surprised if Max Homa won. He's been horrible. He's played miserable here. He will not have to worry about a miscut. I think that he is simply like, we are going to get Max Homa back to being a top 10 player in the world at some point. And the more that he continues to drift and fall and the price comes down, like, it's going to happen. And we've not seen Max slump like this year or really in a while. We don't know if he's going to foreshadow this comeback, or we don't know if he's just going to find something one day and it's going to click and he's going to win. There are not a lot of golfers. It's a very good field, right? So when you start getting down into this 7K range or whatever Max Homa's odds are for this week, when you start getting down into that range, who do you really think can win? Can Ben On really win? Can Cam Young really win? Can Denny McCarthy really win? I don't know. I know that Max Homa can. So I have no reason to think it's this week over any other week, but I'm going to be trying to pick spots to be very early on Max Homa. I just don't think this can continue forever. Who do you like best out of Siwoo, Hoagie, or Akshay? And then it says, am I crazy for liking all three in one lineup? No, you can do whatever you want. Nobody's crazy, right? Do whatever you want. I prefer Akshay here. So I actually think Akshay could be a pretty decent, first round leader. This dude fills it up like you cannot even imagine. Just unbelievably talented. Did you realize that he finished 22nd at the Memorial and 16th at the US Open? Two insanely difficult events. And now he gets to go to a fill it up wedge fest, which is kind of where he thrives, right? Think about what he did at the Texas Open when he and Denny McCarthy just lapped the field. He can fill it up. He can get scorching hot. He's pretty good with his wedges. He's 22 years old. I don't worry about this demanding stretch of golf for him. Actually, he's played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is his 7th week in a row. Is that right? Not showing any signs of it. Didn't show it on the 5th. Didn't show it on the 6th. 22 years old. Must be nice. Love it. Okay. This has been considered a wedge fest by many. Do we just focus on guys who are accurate, good with wedges, and can make putts? Is there a model formula for that? Yeah, sure. Let's just do this. Let's run a model. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit and then I'll zoom in. It just makes it easier to deal with the weights here. So let's do a couple of things. This is going to be Garrett's model. So Garrett's model, accurate. So driving accuracy. So we're going to go to driving accuracy. We'll put 33 there. Good with wedges. So we'll say approaches from, we'll do like 75 to 100, 100 to 125, 125 to 150. 150, these guys are still hitting pitching wedge and maybe some are hitting 9-iron, but that's not a lot. So what we'll do is we'll do 10 on each, 10, 10, 10. And then what we'll do for the last one is we will do, you said guy who makes putts. We could do strokes gained putting. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do bonus putting. I like bonus putting. Bonus putting says, do you make all of your putts from 5 feet and in? And how many do you make from 20 and out? So it's like you don't give up any from inside 5 feet. And then how many can you make from, like birdie ranges? Garrett's model. Oh boy. Yeah. How about this model, Garrett? Russell Henley, number 1. Just edges out Brendan Todd. Tommy Fleetwood, probably the overlooked guy here, at 3. Horschel 4. Lowry 5. Colin Morikawa 6. Christian Bezuidenhout 7. JT Poston 8. Xander's 9. That's kind of interesting because this is a model that you would not think Xander would be really good at. Xander is top 1 or 2 in a lot of other models. And for him to, like Scotty's not here. Scotty's 12th. But like, those guys aren't here. The fact that Xander is 9th says something to me. Harmon is 10. Burns is 11. And Scotty Scheffler is 12. Interesting. Did Wyndham Clark find something last week? I'm quite worried about Wyndham Clark. So he finished 56th. He played well the first 3 days and just coughed it up on Sunday. Not the end of the world, I suppose. I'm going to need to see more. I just, unfortunately, the stat profile does not look, and even if we start looking at this, round by round here, there are not enough rounds of really good stuff. Even the round 1 at the US Open, I mean, he loses 2 strokes ball striking. Even round 3 at the US Open, he loses 1.2 ball striking. And those were rounds he ended up gaining to the field. Very concerning. Watching him looks difficult right now. It looks like a massive grind. I'm going to need to see a little bit more there. Hey, Rick, I jumped to second in my one and done. I want to be different from the guy in first and still be safe. That leaves me with a few options. Hideki, Fleetwood, Keegan, JT, Lowry. Thoughts? If those are your options, it's probably Hideki time. Nick Taylor is a deep flyer. Oh, I wish. I don't know, though, because I don't think he's been playing all that well. I was considering him for the Memorial. I don't think I ever got there. It's just like not – there's just no signs of it, Nathan, right? I mean – look at what he was doing last year and into this year when he won, right? Just first off, the putter. He was very, very good with the putter, and he was matching it with solid approach play. What's he doing now? Coughing it up with the flat stick, 7 out of his last 9, losing on approach, 6 of his last 7, no end in sight. I'm going to pass. Is there a course that fits Xander best out of the Travelers, the Open, St. Jude, and BMW? Yeah, I mean, listen, he's won here, right? He's played well here. It's this one. Since there are 69 golfers, it seems like an excellent chance to pick a first-round leader. Any suggestions? I think there's technically 71 golfers in this field. But yeah, I like Akshay, right? It just stands out to me. If you wanted to go and look at how often guys are gaining, like Sahith would be interesting. He gains 4 or more strokes 19% of the time. It's like the 5th highest rate. What you also kind of want to do is, okay, so we could do this as well. How about we do bonus putting and approach play in the model? How do you become the first round leader? Let's just do a first round leader model. Approach play and put, you throw darts, you make a lot of putts. That's usually how this works. So what we're going to do is this. We're going to go last 36, and we're going to put, hold on, let me think about this. 30, how many do I want to do? I want to do 33 on strokes gained approach in the last 36. I want to go back to bonus putting for 33. And then what I'll also do is go to the scoring and do, or actually it's under strokes gained. How often a golfer gains 5 or more strokes to the field. Okay. So put all that together, and I'm just going to highlight, well, I'll read them all just so you can kind of pick what you want. Xander, Sahith would be an interesting first round leader. Ludwig, Ben Griffin, Victor Hovland, Shane Lowry, Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, Justin Thomas, Tommy Fleetwood, Colin Morikawa, Russell Henley. I mean, these are the big name golfers, but the ones that are not, Akshay, Denny, Sahith, Ben Griffin. That's where I'd be firing my darts. Thoughts on Will Zalatoris? Is he fully healthy? Doesn't look like it. Actually, I shouldn't say that. Watching him looks fine. You don't see any wincing. You don't see anything like that. What we don't know is how the injury just impacted his practice, his swing. We know he went to a shorter driver. We know that it can impact a lot of different things. And what we saw at the beginning of the year was so encouraging, and we're far away from that right now. This is the cheapest he's been, $7,100 in a very, very long time. How would you feel about starting your lineups with Hovland? I don't think I'd feel great about that. You're passing up on a lot of win equity. Scheffler, Xander, Ludwig, Colin, Cantlay is a lot. If this wasn't an event that had such sticky course history with some of the best guys playing, I think that's a lot to pass up. That's my opinion, though. For one and done, I have to get my Xander spot right. Yeah, no, it's here. I'm pretty sure it's here. Hearing a lot of chatter that the golf community is hoping this will be the last limited field signature event. Do you think it's something that's being considered? I don't know. God, they've bungled this whole thing, but what they did yesterday was they ensured that these will be at least 72 players moving forward. They will use an alternate list to get to 72. I don't have any hope that they will take it to 100 and cut it, or maybe even 72 and a 50 cut, like we do at Riviera or something like that. But I think you're still going to get these moving forward in some sense. Hey, Rick, thanks for taking the time this morning. 2 questions for you. Thoughts on old web in the field, and can you sort by opportunities plus gains, and is there a way to check conversion rates? Ooh, no, but that's something that there probably should be. Yeah, so opportunities plus gains, that is underneath approach, and it is a stat that says how often are you hitting it, a birdie opportunity, giving yourself an opportunity to 10 feet or closer, and then comparing that to how often the field is doing it and giving you a number of like, how many are you gaining? So Siwoo Kim is number 1. So he has, so if the average number of birdie looks from 10 feet or inside is 3 per round, Siwoo's gaining 1 per round is the way to read this. Wyndham Clark, Xander Schauffele, Corey Connors, Sam Burns. Oh, I'm sorry. I was scrolled down a little bit. Siwoo is actually 3rd. It's Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, Siwoo Kim, Wyndham Clark, Xander Schauffele, Corey Connors, Sam Burns. What do I think about Webb? I don't think much about Webb. I just don't. I think we're pretty cooked for Weber. And I love Webb. He's just nowhere near the golfer that he was. And this is, another difficult field. I just don't know if I see this going super well for him. Good morning, Rick. I'm a lifelong Boston resident. Woohoo! Good for you. Good luck. But I've lived in Denver. Yeah. So, okay. So this says, I asked for pizza suggestions. Fat Sully's. Did anybody give me that one? I don't know, but I will add it to the list. I use Google Maps, and I save all these places, golf courses and restaurants and pizza stops and all that thing. Can we do a deep dive on Taylor Pendrith? Yeah, he's played better, right? I mean, what I love about this is he was playing great going into the Byron Nelson. He wins that and then doesn't really stop playing all that well. He missed the cut at the PGA Championship, but he had a 10th at Wells Fargo. He had a 16th at the US Open. He's not going to be able to bomb and gouge it, right? You're going to have to be a little bit more in terms of precision around TPC River Highlands, but I want to see what his wedge numbers are. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty good from 125 yards and in. The putter, strong. Okay, good call. I like that. He needs to be patient. He's probably going to club down a lot off of the tee. If he does that, I'm ready for him. Even though I know you're going to tell us not to copy your bets, can you please share your betting card for this week? Yes. Again, don't let me spend your money. Go spend your money however you want. I'll spend my money however I want. Here's what I've done for this week. So I've bet Victor. I always bet Victor every time he tees it up. So throw that out the window. I am a sucker. So I did bet Scotty again. Still believe he's the best player in the world. 4 guaranteed rounds. Last week there's a lot happening there. I'm not worried about that. So I got him at 4.5 to 1. So I had to make a pretty big bet on that. Then I got Akshay at 90 and Keegan at 60. That's all. So 4.5, 60, 90. That's the card. I did bet Liv, which has a Nashville event this week, which we can talk about in a second. I bet Joaquin Neiman at 11 to 1 and Taylor Gooch at 16 to 1. The reason that I did that, just to kind of show you here. So they're playing at the Grove or the Grange. I always confuse these two because they play at both of them. I think this one's at the Grove. The Grove is in Nashville and they have not played here before. So there's not a lot of data or interesting stuff to go on there. But I think there are a lot of question marks at the top of the live board. For example, Bryson DeChambeau has just been making the rounds on late night TV, playing drunk golf, having a blast as he should. Does he come in ready to rock and roll for this week? Not sure. John Rahm, the foot thing, 100%. We don't know. The other guys who played in the US Open, was it grueling? Was it difficult? Are you now having to turn around and go to a place and you're having this kind of like letdown or whatever? That would be like Brooks Koepka, maybe even Sergio Garcia, guys that have played well. So I think there's a lot more question marks, especially on a golf course that we haven't seen them play, that I'm willing to try to be like next man up. So the two that I settled on were Neiman, who did not play the US Open and is probably their second or third best golfer this year. And outside of Liv Houston, where he finished 32nd, he's been great. We got to fix the putter a little bit. He's lost 4 strokes putting in his last 6 rounds. We got to get that fixed a little bit. But other than that, if he can just get back to his baseline there, there's a lot of good stuff on the horizon. And then Taylor Gooch, I don't think he's won since last season. Yeah, he last won in Valderrama, but he's been on and around it. And he does that high upside thing, the putting and the approach play. He's doing it again. I think that those two for the number 16 to 1, 11 to 1, I thought were most interesting. I do also have I always close out my tabs and stuff, so my bad. I do have the live golf salaries and everything loaded in to the custom model. So if you want to build lineups for that, you can as well. Let's look at some long shot models. Ooh, okay. Well, how would you want to do that? Tell me how you'd want to do that. I'm worried about Scotty's putter. Could you break down where it's failing him? You shouldn't be worried. I don't think you should be worried at all. Actually, hold on. I don't want to lose the model. He just lost 6 strokes putting at Pinehurst number 2. Do not care at all. A USGA setup in which it was just going to smash these guys. No big deal. Seriously. Don't care. A lot of undulate. This is not a tour course. He's gained so many strokes with the putter before this. If he lost 16 strokes putting at the US Open, I wouldn't care. Not worried about it. At their prices, do you like Eckroat and or Jaeger? I like Eckroat more than Jaeger. Oliver, also a member, says, Rick, is it time to play Tony Finau after gained almost 2 strokes putting at the US Open and Memorial and back-to-back starts? Yeah, this is kind of interesting as well. So do we trust Finau to be able to club down and play precision golf? That's kind of the question here. And we can look at his Travelers Championship history. Excuse me, I got to let it load my screen recorder. Okay, there we go. So 45th last year, 13th the year before, and then 3 consecutive missed cuts. But he was striking it better in each of the last 2 years. That's the blueprint that he has to roll out. If you look at what Tony Finau is doing, Oliver, he no longer has that putter, the toe of that putter way up in the air, which is something that he was doing and struggling badly. So he's a very streaky putter that goes in both directions. I believe we're in the midst of a good streak. So yes, this would be a pretty good time. It's 11 p.m. in Melbourne. There you go, Dr. DFS. I said it right, didn't I? Melbourne. Am is better. Brain isn't exhausted. Still fresh like a sea cucumber. Heidi ho. Awesome. Something for me to listen to while working. That's right. Give me the lowdown. Matt Wallace deep dive. What field is Matt Wallace in? The European field? I guess he is. Hold on. Let's look. Is he playing the KLM? There he is. There he is playing the KLM. Okay, so he's the third most expensive player in the KLM. Yeah, this is pretty good, right? So he's playing. He hasn't played a European Tour event since DP World Tour Championship, where he finished runner-up in November. Starting to get it going after the missed cut in Houston. Fourth at Byron Nelson, second at Myrtle Beach. He made the cut to PGA Championship and finished 27th at the Canadian Open. He's gaining throughout the bag. Putter looks better. Ball striking looks good. Yeah, let's go. Don't mind that one single bit. Ashley, you could play Victor at TPC Southwind. Thank you, Ryan. Rate my card. Harman, Will Zalatoris, and Spieth. Oof. D-. Majors are worth double in my one and done league. I was in first by 2 million heading into last week and took Rory over 40% of my league pick. Bryson Payne. Yeah, that's horrible. What do you think of Pavone this week? Who in the world knows, right? Did anybody accurately think that what he did at the US Open was predictable? After looking like he completely lost, I mean, he had lost, I'm not exaggerating, 30 strokes to the field over his last 3 starts before the US Open. So if you think anybody is a good Matthew Pavone predictor, you're probably wrong. The course, because he is an accurate kind of precision type golfer, I would have said this is insanely better than Pinehurst number 2 is, but what do I know? I'm going to say positive, but I don't know. Real quick before I forget, because I can't believe we're already 43 minutes into this. The contest on Splash, our listener league, has about 100 spots left. It is just tiers based. So it's $20 an entry. It's completely guaranteed. So whether this fills or not, $5,400 is going to be guaranteed. I would like to fill it because I would like to continue to grow these, and they'll continue to make them bigger, and then we get more money guaranteed. But yeah, so just use $20. There's a link in the description. There's a link in the description for all the stuff that you need. This for Underdog, for my newsletter, for my one and done tool that I consult on. It's not really my tool. It's Pool Genius's tool, but they give us a discount and a free trial on it. They added in the pick popularity. So you can see that who I've already used, because this is custom to me, right? And how big my pool is and stuff like that. Xander's one of my better options for this week. So Cantlay, Hideki, Connors are all up there. So this looks at future value. It looks at pick popularity. It looks at odds, and as odds are changing, there's a link in the description for this. If I recommend it, I think you guys know by now, it's something that I use and appreciate. I don't have it's not like every week there's like a new thing. These are sites or partners that I've got long-term relationships with, and only through a lot of due diligence have we gotten there. Good morning. On Underdog, I just advanced to the finals. Nice. I pulled some of the ownership of the remaining teams. Some interesting stuff. Rye is 60% known. 97% of teams have Scotty/Rory. Yeah. Yep. That makes a lot of sense. Speaking of Underdog, let's enter the one and done, the Underdog. Wow. Portion of the show. Armina's not here. She's downstairs packing, I believe. So I'll say it for her. Woof, woof. That's what she does. That's the bit that we do. I know this is like not a WNBA show or whatever, but the points for Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are a half a point each. So those are the freebies, right? The promos. I know they're going to limit you at like $10 or something like that, but that adds up, right? Taking the $10 promo every day, what's that? $3,600 a year in entries where you have half of it, right? I mean, it does add up. I checked this morning. I did not see the rivals were out yet, which is a little bit disappointing. But I was going through the underdog stuff here. So last year, the course played to like a 68.3 average. But on the weekend, when the better guys were around, it played to like a 67.5. This is going to be a much stronger field than that. I think it is conceivable to think that this is going to play to somewhere between a 67 and a 67.5. And then especially, so what I'd also be interested in is, I think there might be a pretty big scoring difference between Thursday and Friday, right? It's been hot. It's nasty. Thursday might be the most difficult. And then when we start getting that rain over the course of the week, I think it's going to get softer. I think it's probably going to get easier along the way. So keeping all of that in mind, I was looking through here, trying to find guys to pick on, trying to find guys to throw into some of these wagers. I mean, they also have the scorchers with finishing positions as well. So for example, like if you thought Ricky Fowler was going to finish inside the top 10, you could put that out there. And with Caitlin Clark, that would be a 9x return. That's actually, I guess you can only put $10 on it. So it'd be 10 to win 90, but I don't particularly like the Ricky Fowler side of things. I would be probably looking at Hideki birdie number, which is 4.5. He's going to get out early on Thursday, and I love the way he's playing. Keegan at lower than 68, right? If we think this is going to play to maybe 67.5, 67, he's playing great golf. He's going to be amped up for this. I also would not mind. This is a little frisky, but if you wanted to do Keegan's round one leaderboard position, top 10, he is a historically great starter. Historically great, right? If we go to the Holy Grail and look at everything back to the start of 2020, this probably cuts out a lot of his stuff. For everybody in this field, I bet you he's one of the best starters out here. And it's actually not as good as I thought. He's getting a stroke per round. What if we go back farther? I feel like he's so much better than that. Yeah, he's basically always been a 1+ or more stroke per round guy in round one. Very fast starter. If you wanted to do his leaderboard, and that doesn't see, I kind of like that because you don't have to worry about sweating birdies or sweating strokes or anything like that. I think Spieth is kind of more injured than he's leading on. So I'll take higher than 67.5 strokes, especially because, I don't know, this place can kind of get away from you if you're a little bit off. And then I'm picking on guys like Wyndham Clark over 68 or, Zalatoris over 68, things of that nature. So if you put all of those in, so what do I have? 6 plus my free Caitlin Clark, 10 if I get 6 right, 476 if I get 5 right, 49.50. You can actually go up to 8 now, which is kind of crazy. So if you thought Sung Jae was going to finish inside the top 5, oh my gosh, my multiplier's already been reached. 10 to win 2,500 if they're all right. Wow. Anyway, links in the description. It's up to a $250 deposit match now or bonus now, so you can do that. This is a game of volume, right? Like Underdog's a game of volume, right? You take your $10 bonus every single day. You try to pile it up. It's a volume game. It's not like a get rich quick game. It's a get rich slow game. Do you want to do your wolf?
Woof, woof.
There you go. She did it better than I did. Okay. Let's get back to the model. This is an interesting question. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it right now, but it says, could you run a model for the Travelers? Could you take the top 5 stats from Keegan's win last year and plug them into the model for this year? Yes, but I'd have to go dig it. I'm not going to do it on the live show, but that's interesting. Maybe something that I want to look up. Rick just said Max Homa is going to win, and his Olympics take. Yeah, I'm vibing. I'm almost on vacation, right? Vacation Rick is almost here, right? We'll be at the Rockies game tonight. If anybody's going to be at the Rockies game tonight and you see us, say hello. We've got friends and family. I'm vibing right now. I'll be doing the Monday show for what is next week? Rocket Mortgage from a hotel room because we're vacationing, baby. Yeah. Okay. So this is a good call. Let's do the deep dive on Fleetwood because as I was going through, he was in that model that we ran for what was that model? It was bonus putting, accuracy, and approach play of some type. Tommy's been so good. Tommy has not missed a cut since Bay Hill. He hasn't finished outside the top 35 since the Players. Oh, that's not true. He finished T49 at Harbor Town. He's gaining throughout the bag. Is this a low key Tommy spot? He hasn't played incredibly well here. Missed the cut, 46th, 13th. Tommy might be the forgotten guy. I agree with you. Burns or Finau and why? Oof. Sean, I am high on Burns, but it's probably still Finau. Finau is at least kind of like a proven. I mean, I guess Burns has won, 4 times in his career? Finau feels a little safer with just as much upside. Burns feels like he might finish last at this too, right? He might win, he might finish last. I like the way Burns is going, but he is incredibly volatile. Finau, believe it or not, is not so much. Model request, 4 categories of 20% each. Oh, okay. So it's actually, I was going to say that doesn't add up to 100, but we filed it up here. Okay. So I can do this. Rick, you can do this. You could self-talk is good. Rick, you can do this. Okay. So strokes gained approach for 20, driving accuracy for 20, strokes gained par 4 for 20, birdie or better gained for 20, course history, TPC River Highlands for 10. And then I get to pick. So we've got approach, par 4, accuracy, history. Should probably do some putting. Should we just go bonus putting? I love bonus putting at events like this. Let's go bonus putting. Our model is Scotty, Xander, Sahith, Ludwig, Russell, Colin, Hideki, Brian Harmon, Siwoo Kim, Corey Connors. That's the top 10. Just outside the top 10, Hoagie, Straka, Fleetwood. Thanks for your support. Morning, Brent. Yes. My pizza and breakfast tip. Fat Sully's very good. Thank you. And Denver Biscuit Company. Denver, okay. I'm going to add that to my list. Denver Biscuit Company. Thanks, Brent. Fade Scotty is a reasonable option. I do not believe so. I've got 3 rounds. Armina doesn't know this. I've got 3 rounds booked. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to be able to sneak in another one, but I will add these for next time because we go to Denver. We've got some peeps in Denver, so we go to Denver a couple times a year. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. Did we get an ownership update? Mike must have been listening. Ownership update. Okay, we just got an ownership update. Yeah. So you can see the changes. Yeah, Russell Henley up to 19%. That makes more sense to me. What else was in that? Let's see. Akshay 6%. Sahith down to 11. Harmon at 14. Yeah, okay. Oh boy. Is this a week to consider more basic non-strokes gain stats? Greens and regulations, fairways, hit, scrambling. No, I don't think so. If you're scrambling, you're probably in trouble. I mean, I don't think so at all. We have a really good history at TPC River Highlands, right? Let's use what the model is telling us. It's a lot of accuracy and precision stats. So that's hitting fairways, keeping it close to the fairway, staying out of trouble. It's a lot of second shot and then go make some putts. That's kind of the deal around here. So Mina's very proud of herself. I think she's in 6th or 7th in the run and done. So Brent's trying to track her down. She had Bryson last week. She had Scotty at the Players, I think. She had Nick Taylor for his only win. It's crazy. She's in like 6th or 7th, and she is absolutely crushing it. Whatever happened to Jock Market? I think they just ran out of money and just couldn't make it, which is what it happens with a lot of startups. I know that they like paused and then came back, but I don't know if they're actually still operating right now. My relationship with those guys is always good. They kind of went dark for a while and said, hey, we're gonna have to stop the golf stuff. We're only going to do football contests. They went dark for a while. I was owed money. I'm happy to say they did end up paying me. So I think they've paid their debts, but I don't know. I don't know. I think it's just kind of a situation where they ran out. It's tough position to be in. Love waking up early and have a morning show. Way better than GMA. Oh, is Michael Strahan still on GMA? Am I better than Michael Strahan? All right. I think we are. Oh, Mina, what's your pick again?
I think I ended up with Keegan.
Yeah, she said Keegan. Now she was not as confident in this one as other weeks. She's usually pretty confident. She kind of floundered around on Keegan. She said, oh no, he's a little bit too expensive. I usually like guys in the 7K range. I don't know what to do. And then she settled on Keegan. So I don't know. Yeah, I wish we could go to overtime today, but we do have a flight to catch. Do you ever feel slightly burned out on golf? Are there weeks you wish you could take a break and talk football, baseball? No. I think the golf cadence, because it's obviously every week, like I'm a routine guy. I like the routine. I get to do the same thing Monday and then the next Monday and then Tuesday. I like that. I don't get burned out at all. The other thing is, because we have these natural, like the 4 majors, and then we get the events kind of spread out. It's interesting. And then in, September, December, like it's pretty slow. We'll go places. No, I don't. And I think I would just hate it if I were to talk football or baseball. I think I would just hate that. Since you cleared the air on Jock Market, can we ask what happened with Andy Lack? Yeah, Andy's with a new site. It's no longer with rickrungood.com. How do you do your own 3-ball? Oh, how did you do on your 3-ball picks in the US Open? So I bet 38, all 38 3-balls in round 1 of the US Open. $10 each. I just wanted to see what I could do. Somebody asked me on Twitter, so I know the exact number. It was plus 31.20. So $31 of profit. So like 3 units up. The only one that I was upset about is I thought I picked Rory in that 3-ball because he was like plus 250. He was a dog. He was the dog. It was Scotty was even money. Xander was whatever. And then Rory was like plus 250. And I could have sworn I picked Rory. I didn't. I picked Scotty. So when I went back and checked, I was like, I thought I picked Rory. Anyway, I would love to keep going here. We got to go. We're going to the airport right now. We're going to be headed to Denver. Thank you so much for tuning in at a new time. Hopefully this was valuable, and I don't know. Everything you need is in the description. You guys are great. See ya.